Okay, here is our general shapes overview video for Illustrator. Um, uh, you'll see that you have different tools. The first tool we're going to look at is our shapes, like rectangles, just so you can kind of see how coloring works in Illustrator. Um, you'll notice in your toolbar, if any of the tools have a little triangle at the bottom, you can actually hold it down and you get all of these different sub tools. So same for shapes, right? So for shapes, I'm going to create a rectangle tool, just a rectangle shape. I select it and I can click and drag. Okay. If I wanted to make a perfect square, I would hold down my shift key, click and drag. Okay. When I want to change the color of something, right, I make sure that something is selected. And here, when you select a shape, you can kind of get information here. So this is the color of the fill, which is the inside. This is the color of the stroke, which is that border. Okay. I'm going to put colors in these areas so you can see how to change their colors, right? So here I've got my swatches. You can definitely explore, but I'm going to change the color of things, right? So I'm changing the color of my fill, and then you will see here that when I click away and I'll zoom in, see that I've got a shape that reflects this, right? So if I want to make my border a different color, I will select it and then toggle between these two, and I can change the border. The width or the weight of the border, I can change here in my properties panel. Mine is set up over here on the top. I'm sure you'll see it somewhere. You have responsive menus. So here's my rectangle. You'll notice that when you select a shape, you've got these different little dots in the corner, and this actually allows you to manipulate the corners themselves. So those are really fun. If you hold down your shift key, I believe it is, and double click on just that one corner, you can just manipulate that one shape. So you can make really cool shapes with that. Okay, so everything in Illustrator has a fill and a stroke. This looks like it's just a empty rectangle, but as you can see here, this is white, and white on white background. It looks like it's empty, but it's not. If you want something that does not have a fill, which is definitely possible, you can, I'm going to swap that out. Here's my fill. This is no fill. I've got to make sure I select it. No fill. And then when I want to drag it over something, this brings up a great point, it will show just the border and no fill on the inside. And so here I've got this. I'm going to make this border a little bit thicker, and I'll change the color so you can see it. In Illustrator, you have the ability to have objects that are in front or behind each other. So here, if you wanted, like what I wanted to show you, that this rectangle was empty in the inside, and when I dragged it over, it appeared on the back. behind this shape here, you can select this shape and you can arrange and you can bring it to the front. Okay, so everything in Illustrator and basically all programs, you can change the location of where they are in the file. So you can bring something to the front, you can bring something to the back, and you'll be able to, create your illustrations in that way. Okay. If you hold down your spacebar key, I have a mouse and I'm using my spacebar. It's really helpful for navigation. If you weren't using a mouse before, I will suggest it might be very helpful for you to have a mouse in this particular program. Not necessary. I've seen a lot of students, not have mouses and do well with their trackpads, but if you have one, it's a good program to use it on. Okay. And so for those general shapes, let me just check what shapes and rotations. Got it. Okay. So here's my shapes, right? I can copy, Command C, or edit, copy, paste, Command V, right? Same kind of tools apply. You can also, and I'm going to demo one of the first things you'll need in your sampler. You can also rotate objects around each other. And so this is helpful if you wanted to make a flower or some kind of illustration like that looks like a gear, mandala, any shape really. But it's kind of a good way to get to know Illustrator, I guess you could say. Right, so in Illustrator, if you select that shape, you can hover your mouse to the corner and you can rotate your shapes, right? There's also this rotate tool that allows you to rotate. You'll notice that when you have this rotate tool, you'll have this little axis point. This is the point where that shape is rotating. You can actually just, while you're on this tool, you can click and change the axis point, the location of it. So you can have it rotate around different points. Okay. I'm rotating it with my mouse. I'm on the rotation tool and here it is. And so for your first or one of your samplers, you're basically rotating around an object. And what that will look like, something like this. So I'm going to set up whatever that shape is. And I'm going to rotate around this circle. Okay, so I'm going to move that axis point right here. And you'll see that it rotates around that particular spot. And at the same time, I can actually make a duplication, right? So if I hold down my shift key while I rotate, it moves in increments. If I hold down my option key, you'll see that there's a secondary arrow that pops up, and I'm able to move that shape and then let go of my mouse. This definitely takes practice. I won't fool you in saying that many students took a little bit of time to figure out the formula of rotating and then holding down that Option key or Alt key if you're on a PC. But you can make really intricate rotations if you choose, right? So I'm going to do that again. I'll change this up. Okay, I'll do a rectangle. Lots of different colors that you can use. You can also use different tools. Okay, so here we are. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. These kind of get my way. All right. Okay, so I'm going to choose this rotate tool, and I'm going to put this axis on the middle of the circle. And you can see that this is me this is just dragging my mouse. Okay. And so Command Z is undo. I'll go back to that center point, and then I'm going to hold down my Shift key so I can get to the 90-degree angle and move in increments. And then I'm going to hold down my Alt key or Option key, and I'm going to let go of my mouse. Okay, so we need to rotate, hold down the Shift and Option key, and then let go of the mouse. I'm going to rotate. If you want, you can rotate, get your shape in the position that you want it to be. Hold down your Option key so you see that double arrow, and then you let go of your mouse. Okay, and you can select multiple shapes, okay, by holding the Shift key. So I'm on my select the black arrow tool, holding down my Shift key, Shift key, Shift key. Then I'll go to my rotate tool, and I will rotate, right? And I will hold down my Shift key. I'm sorry, my Alt key, and I can make multiple rotations. And so once that's in position, I'm going to let go of my mouse, and there it is. Okay, save. So for your sampler, you're making 2 examples of a shape rotation, and it would look like 2 objects, probably like, you know, like this. You don't have to make them exactly like this because I want you to make them your own, but you're going to do the practice of the shape rotation around an object twice, right? The first time could just be an accident. The second time, you did it on purpose, usually. So that is your first sampler object. So shape rotation, just a really good basic function. Get to know how to rotate an object, get to know how to copy an object using your Alt or Option key. Okay, so that's it for this video. We'll move on to the next. But don't forget to save constantly, right? Command S is the key command. For me, I am always on Command S if I'm thinking, and just so you don't want to lose anything. All right, so that's it for this video. Tune into the next one. Thank you.